have a microphone, so we're going to talk with our outside voices. My name is Don McCoy. I'm the Executive Director of the Fulshear Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm also Vice President of the Fulshear Police Foundation. It's a new foundation that is being started in this area. You'll learn more about it as the days and a couple of months go on. We'll have a website, FulshearPoliceFoundation.com. You're more than welcome to check it out. We'd love to have you all as members of that. Tonight's an important evening for us to learn how you can be involved in the community. I remember one time there was a quote that said, "Law enforcement officers are never off duty. They are dedicated public servants who are sworn to protect the public safety at any time and place that peace is threatened. However, they all need all the help they can get." And that's why you're here tonight, to learn something on how you can help our local police department do the job that they do best. And we're real excited that there's such a great turnout. We have some people that might be filtering in, so you see them, guide them over to your seat and everything. We'd love to have them have a seat as well. So as we get started, I'm going to introduce our chief. Chief Kenny Seymour began his law enforcement career in 1989 as a patrol officer with the Rosenberg Police Department. He spent 14 years in an undercover capacity for the department, and in 1997 was promoted to the rank of sergeant and was in charge of field operations at the Fort Bend County Task Force. In 2004, he was promoted to division commander over the Criminal Investigative Division, where he served until 2008. During the 20 years Chief Seymour served the Rosenberg Police Department, he served for 17 years on the SWAT team as an operator, team leader, and commander. In October 2008, Chief Seymour retired from the Rosenberg Police Department, and in March of 2009, Chief Seymour was hired by the Fulshear Police Department, where he is currently employed as our Chief of Police. Chief Seymour holds a Master's Peace Officer Certificate. He is currently attending, I'm going to get some of these wrong, these acronyms that these police officers use, they get kind of wild. So it's Leave it. See, I got that right. And that's Leadership Command College, LCC course, which he will complete this summer. He is a certified instructor in ALERT, that's with 2 R's. I guess we'll ask what the 2 R's mean. Divisionary devices, use of force, fitness instructor at the Cooper's Institute, and has a TCO police instructor certificate and firearm certificate. Chief Seymour currently teaches in the areas of patrol tactics and active shooter, alert, basic, advanced narcotics investigations, and SWAT performance courses, as well as other courses related into this field. And before I bring him on board, I also want to say he's also currently actively seeking his master's in criminal justice administration. Wow. Before we give him a big, well, let's give him a round. That's a great introduction for who I think is a great man. And I also want to say that we have in attendance today with us the Katy ISD Police Department. We'd like to recognize them too for being here. At the end of this evening, Katy ISD will be here to answer any of your questions during the Q&A session. So are you guys ready to hear something that you've never heard before? Ready to learn something? Turn on the attention spans? Let's give Chief Seymour another round of applause. Chief?
With all what he read in a bag of popcorn, it may give you a little bit of excitement. But with all that, just kind of give you an idea of who I am and where I come from. A lot of that, we kind of interact with the officers coming in. It's kind of funny, the officer just walked by and said, "Hey, I graduated high school in 1991. And, so anyway, tonight, before I get started, what I'd like to do is acknowledge a couple of people that are here that actually make the fundamental decisions for our police department and allow us the opportunities to come out and serve and give us the tools that we have. Tonight we have Jeff Roberts, who is our current councilman and newly elected mayor. And Tricia Karanik, who is our, sorry, you moved on me, is our re-elected city councilwoman. Did I miss anybody? I know we're gonna have some new faces, so, but again, these people make all the good decisions for us. They help me with my budget, and it helps us with the opportunity to come out and serve you better. So, and give us the availability to come out and do the things like we're doing tonight. What tonight is about you. We're going to talk about a few things. This has got nothing to do with self-defense, although it does have a lot to do with self-defense. And we'll touch on a few things. The average response time for a police officer in a crisis situation nationally is 3 minutes. So if you look at all the incidents we've had, all the active shooter incidents, people that come in and create mass murder, they're doing that within 5 minutes of entering into that building. What I tell you our response time is? 3. So what do you do? Tonight, what we're here to give you is some ideas, let you understand physiologically what's going to happen in the situation, and help you endure those 3 minutes and give you some food for thought that are going to help you survive if you are you're involved in one of these situations. The Katie officers are here to remind us that it does happen. It just happened a few weeks ago. Okay? One of their officers that's here tonight was actually involved in that situation. So again, I'm here to kind of throw out some things to you. I'm not always politically correct. Well, I'm not elected. So I'm not here to make statements for you. I'm not here to say this is what you should do. These are just things that I think if you have nothing more that you should put some thought to. And I was taught a long time ago, if you ever meet a person who has a better plan or who has more plan than you, you will lose. So understand that these people that come to do us harm, they're planned, they're prepared, they're ready. The problem is they're meeting us who are not. So tonight we're going to kind of expound on that a little bit. Just to kind of outline what we're going to talk about tonight is disaster response psychology, active shooter events, and civilian response to active shooter events. Understand there's a lot of physiological effects when it comes to stress. We do some weird things during stress. Even policemen who are trained and are supposed to endure in these situations do some very weird things. Some of the physiological effects they go through as well. We'll talk about that. Before, I'm going to show you a few videos tonight. They're going to be pretty impactful, okay? Nothing gory, so if we have small children here, it's nothing that they can't see. But it's going to touch you a little bit. I had a few people the last time we taught this. Some people got up and left because it's pretty disturbing. But what it is factual. And it is what our society is having to deal with sometimes on a weekly basis, national. So it happens here, it happens elsewhere, it happens overseas. We're all reminded of what happened to the incident in Paris. That wasn't a school, it wasn't a workplace. It was a cafe out in the street. It happens in our theaters, it happens in our churches. So understand we're all affected by that because we all attend and we participate in those things. So a lot of times we talk about schools, active shooter, that's where it's at, that's where our problem is. That's not where it's at. Why is it that we only hear about the school shooting situations? Why is that? They involve kids. Plus it makes the news better, it sensationalizes things. So again, we look at one particular incident that changed the whole pendulum of how we react as law enforcement. ALERT. The acronym for that is Advanced Law Enforcement Rapid Response Tactics or Training. And what we did is we looked inward to say, okay, where did we fail at Columbine High School? What did we not do right? And I'll tell you what we didn't do right. And I'm not here to judge, because this could have happened anywhere in USA, and we would have got the same response. Is that we got so specialized in our profession that we pushed it off on somebody else. Okay? So these guys ran rampant for 12 minutes, killing numerous people, and our guys were setting up. Okay? We were casting that net, we were setting a perimeter, we were doing all those things, we were calling in a SWAT team. Okay? We don't have time for that nowadays. Okay? Within 5 minutes, problems are happening. So understand we had to come and we had to change our tactics a little bit. And so there was a little bit of a pendulum swing from us being involved or not involved to being involved. Now I can tell you throughout this county and adjoining counties that alert is pretty prevalent, actually across the state. Texas State University adopted this program. It's federally funded. They go pretty much all over the world teaching these tactics. So, but they're teaching them to law enforcement. What they said is, okay, that's great. Law enforcement guys know what to do, but what happens in that first 3 to 5 minutes? How do we survive? So we had to look at it and we said, okay, and they came up with this, civilian response to active shooter events. I'm going to show you this and kind of set the tone a little bit. This is the actual video or the audio from the library in Columbine High School. Patty, she actually does an awesome job with the dispatch. She kind of gives her rendition of what she thought was going on, and you can hear all the things. You can hear all the trauma and all the dramatic things that are taking place. Okay? Now I'll tell you, I did a study with, after Columbine a few years later, I went to go and talk to these guys, or a few of these guys, and listen to the things that they had to endure. And I tell you, there's nothing more disheartening to talk to the SRO officer who sat outside the library and heard every shot. And now he knows what all those shots represent. So as us as law enforcement, we changed our tactics to suggest that no matter what, we go in. We don't need a SWAT team. We have training, we have the guns, we have bulletproof vests, we gotta go in. Like I tell our guys, I tell everybody we train. One day you knew it was gonna be tough when you pin that badge on. So you gotta go earn your money. So that's what we do. Now I'm gonna tell you what you do as citizens. So listen up here just a minute, just to kind of get some ideas as to what was going on in Littleton, Colorado.
Okay, you'll put the police officer on honey. Okay, just try and keep the kids in the library calm. Is there any way you can block the door so no one can get in? I do not. Okay. I keep right outside the door. I'm afraid to go to the door. Okay. That's what it is. I'm okay. That's okay. You don't know where I go because of six. All the children on the floor and
Listen to what she just said.
Okay. And let's try and keep no one say a word. Okay, as long as we can keep everyone there as calm as we can. I heard them going out there going over. Yeah, we've got alarms going off now as well. Yeah, there's one. There's nothing still with you. Okay. Okay. Keep everyone away from the floor. Everyone stay on the floor. Stay on the floor. Stay on the
Kind of get an idea of what it was like that day, huh? Patty Nelson does a great job. She does a lot of talking. But understand, there's a lot of things going on. A lot of gunshots in the background. You probably couldn't really hear that, but that's what was going on. Kind of preempt what was happening that day. 2 individuals came onto the campus. People saw guns. They thought there was a play going on. They were doing some kind of production. Okay, they never gave the mindset. They thought they were blanks. This is the mindset of what's going on. I'm going to tell you why that happens here in just a minute. Next video I'm going to show you. Now, this is a reenactment of Columbine. Okay? In the schools, they have the videos and all that. So what they do is they build a reenactment to kind of give you an idea of what those 2 individuals did to the people there. There's not a lot of sound up front.
Yeah, I think it's a shootout.
Maybe it's a came once to Can you tell me where you are? How many people? Can you see the perpetrator? Can you see the guy through the door? Are you in there right now? Hello? Hello? Can you pick up? Hello?
Hello?
Can you tell me where you are?
Hello?
Can you tell me where you are?
We're shooting at school, baby.
Might be a little language in this.
There's 2 shooters, man. Hello? Can you pick up? Andre? Andre? Can you pick up? Hey, everybody! Everything on the road?
minute. We talk about disaster response or crisis response. There's a few things. It's kind of broken down into 3 areas. Denial, deliberation, and decisive movement. Okay, these are the 3 areas that we as humans have to go through. There's a study done on a Colonel Boyd that did the boys. I don't want to call it cycle observation, but it's called OODA loop. Okay, so the acronym stands for Observe, Orient, Decide, and Act. And what they say is the first person that can come out of that loop to make decisions is generally the one that's going to prevail. Okay, we talk about the 3 here: denial, deliberation, decisive movement. Okay, these are the 3 that you, as an individual during a stressful situation, are going to have to navigate through. Okay, we're going to go through denial. Okay, it's not denial that it's not happening. It's your mind playing tricks. Okay, what did Patty say she thought it was? Not gunfire, and that's actually what it was. What'd she say it was? Cap guns. You hear people when there's fireworks. I thought it was fireworks. Well, think about it just a minute. It's April. It's October. Okay? But our mind plays tricks because that's what we revert back to. So we get into denial. Actually, I think it's the other way around. One of the issues you have, and I'll kind of throw this out there, and Amanda Ripley wrote a book called The Unthinkable, and she describes these 3 different avenues that we take, and she kind of identifies it and breaks it down a little bit more. So just understand that when we go through one of the aspects is called social proofing. Okay, I'm going to show you this video. This is more a little bit eye-opening than well, let me say it's more real than what we're going to give ourselves credit for. Okay, there's also another video, and I challenge you to look at this. It's on YouTube. It kind of coincides with this. But when we talk about social proofing, in 9/11, you had people that shut down their computers. They walked to the exit. They did things because nobody got excited. Why didn't anybody get excited? Because the next person wasn't excited. And if we had a fire drill in here right now and nobody took off running, everybody walked out, everybody would walk out. Okay? But let the first person run and watch what happens. Okay? That's social proofing. Okay? We have to prove it to ourselves. Here's a little study to kind of back that up a little bit.
Place like this street in New York City, if you were unfortunate enough to be the victim of a crime or taken ill unexpectedly, you might think that surrounded by all these people, someone would intervene. After all, isn't there safety in numbers? Psychologists say no. Research suggests that often a victim is less likely to receive assistance when surrounded by a group rather than a single bystander. When people are in a crowd, it's easier to pass the buck. It's what psychologists call the diffusion of responsibility. Liverpool Street Station in London, a busy thoroughfare for commuters. Unknown to these passers-by, Peter is an actor. As part of an experiment on bystander apathy, he's pretending to be ill. How long before he gets help? Helping would be inconvenient or even risky. He lies there for more than 20 minutes and no one raises an eyebrow.
It's always very distressing to watch situations like this where people are obviously suffering and no one's actually helping them. But what we have here is 2 conflicting rules. One is the rule we ought to help, and the other is the rule that we ought to do what everybody else is doing. And here you have effectively a group of strangers who are exerting the pressure not to intervene, not to help, and it's very difficult to rebel.
Ruth, another actor, takes Peter's place. How long before she receives help? Four minutes later, and 34 people have passed without stopping.
Well, people don't really want to know that. They just haven't got the time. Well, they have got the time, they just don't want to get involved.
Unwittingly, these strangers have silently formed a temporary group with a rule: don't get involved. They're afraid to stand out from the crowd and won't take action if no one else does. This woman has clearly spotted Ruth, but she conforms to the rule and does nothing. Watch what happens, though, when someone else helps.
You alright? You alright?
Yes, thank you.
Sure, you look a bit flaky, you alright?
She suddenly finds herself in a different group with a new rule to help.
Well, shut up, is it? You alright, yeah? Sure.
First I thought she was dead. Then I sort of checked to see if she was breathing or not. And I looked around and I couldn't believe that no one had noticed her because there was a bloke sat there just absorbed in reading a newspaper.
This time, Peter's dressed as a respectable gentleman. Now that his dress is in keeping with those around him, how long before he's rescued?
Hello, sir. How are you today?
6 seconds. She even calls him sir, and suddenly everyone's a good Samaritan.
Do you suffer from epilepsy?
No.
Why are you lying on the floor in the rain?
Because he's part of the right group. Everyone wants to help.
I would just hate to be in his position of feeling ill and nobody helping him walking he passed, so just like to check that he was okay.
And I thought, well, it's wet, so you must really be able to ruin the suit anyway. All right, understand, just in ambiguous situations, we're going to look to others to do things. We're not going to do something until somebody else does something. And I'm not saying that's typical of everybody, but when it takes one person, then we get involved. And it's who that one person is. So kind of understand what social proofing is and understand how it affects us. And I promise you, if you think about it, you've seen things. You've been in a restaurant, somebody choked, somebody this, and you look. Is somebody going to help? So understand, we're all kind of affected by that. It takes us a little bit to understand what's going on before we act. Okay? So where social proofing gets into is when that person starts to act. Now there is deliberation. You went from denial to deliberation. What do we do? Well, here we have to make choices. In a crisis situation, we have to make those choices very fast. We don't have time to set. Because again, we talked about that 3 to 5 minutes. Right? I can't help you. I promise you, I can't beat the national average. 3 to 5 minutes, you ask any policeman. 3 to 5 minutes, that's an awesome response time unless you just happen to be across the street. Okay? So understand, we have to deliberate very quickly as to what we're going to do. All this will come together here in just a minute. But when we do deliberate, there's several factors in there that kind of keep us from reacting very fast. Okay? And they're stressors. They're physiological things that go on. Some of them kind of color coordinate what these are. Condition white, which is your normal, is what everybody is right now, your normal resting heart rate. Condition yellow, you start to lose your fine motor skills. Okay? So, all of our concealed handgun carriers, okay, all people that are proficient with weapons, in a stressful situation, I don't care who you are, you will start to lose fine dexterity. That's your fingers. Okay? You don't write your name like you normally do. You don't tie your shoe. You don't introduce a magazine to a weapon like you normally did. Okay? They start to deteriorate. Under condition red, you have your complex, your gross motor skills. They start to deteriorate. Although you do feel stronger and faster, the issue that you have is when you're shot, you're probably going to bleed faster. Okay? Under a condition gray, which is your cognitive processing, you have a lot of things that start to happen to you. Auditory exclusion, you don't hear well. I heard 2 shots, I heard 1 shot, I heard a firecracker, I heard a loud pop, and we all hear it differently because stresses affect us differently. Okay? Tunnel vision. We start to focus on one thing, we forget about other things. We talk, when we're training police officers, we try to break that tunnel vision during stressful situations. We want to scan. We want to look for additional suspects and additional problems. Condition black is basically, this is a system overload. Okay, a lot of things happen here. You freeze up, you don't know what to do. I mean, how many people have been startled? Somebody jumped out and scared you. For just a brief second, you don't know what to do. Okay? I'm not saying you jumped up to 175 heartbeats per minute, but if you did, we start talking about hypervigilance. We start to lock down. People start having heart attacks at 175. So understand the physiological effect is going to delay your deliberation. Okay, it's going to delay your decision making. Now I'm going to lose you here in just a minute because we're going to talk about some lizards and humans. Okay, I'm going to try to keep this as clean as I possibly can. In the deliberation process, there are two types of thinking. You have the human brain, which is pretty complex, and you have the lizard brain. Don't ask me why they came up with the lizard brain other than it's the most primitive. Okay? But understand, under the human brain, it's more reflective, it's a thinking brain, it's flexible, rational, but slow. Under the lizard brain, it's reflexive, it's reactive, it's fixed, emotional, and fast. So, anybody ever try to catch a bird? Or a lizard? What are they going to do? They flight. Their mindset is flight. In the human brain, we run into stress. What do? We're pondering. What just happened? Or what was that? Okay? So understand that we get into that decisive. Okay? The difference in those is in the human brain we get into fight, flight, or freeze. So you have to deliberate as to what it is that you're going to do. I'll give you a plan here in just a minute, and it's going to put all this back together. So we're going to talk about lizards and humans. So we talk about fight, flight, and freeze. Give you kind of an example of what I'm talking about here in just a minute. Everybody know Great White? The band Great White? Don't tell me I'm the only one to know. All right. Several years ago, some of you guys might have heard this, they were in Chicago doing a concert. They were in a place called The Station. They were about 150 people over capacity, about 460 people altogether in the building. Kind of point out some things before I show you the video. Let's talk about the exits here. Main entrance, exit, exit, exit. Okay? This is where the main stage is at. Kind of give you preference to where the video's at. So everybody's piling in. You have a bar here. You have the bathrooms back here, dining area. And then this is the main area, dance floor, what have you. Okay? Pool tables. Typical bar setup. It's actually to hold 350 or so people. It's actually a pretty good sized place. We'll show you the video, and I want you to watch the circumstances that happen. They see the problem, but they don't react. Okay? You have a news crew that happens to be filming and doing a documentary on an incident happened 3 weeks earlier on 21 people that were killed in a similar situation when people started to stampede the door. Okay? And I'll kind of narrate some things that are going on. That's Great White. Car attendants are set off as a result of the band coming in. That'll be that bright light right there. The flames hit some acoustic tiles and ignite. You have a fire. What are the people doing? There's a fire alarm going. We all know what that is. We used to do fire drills. Where is everybody going? So it's taking us 1 minute to get to the door. close. Yeah, it's not close. That's a problem. You get the point. Take a look at the layout again. This is the police sketch of where all the bodies were. Here's the main entrance again, 31. 18 couldn't even make it to the corridor. 9 died just off the stage floor. 9 died in the kitchen area. 3 died at the bar. All these people are in the bathroom. 10 more here. Where are the exits, folks? Well, we all try to come out this one exit. Okay? There's a lesson in that. Unfortunately, we get to learn from other people's mistakes. The exits were clearly marked, but we chose to go back to what we knew, and we weren't thinking when the problem occurred. What was the reaction to the people when the fire started? For a good minute, people just looked at the fire. A couple of guys were still drinking. Okay? Unfortunately, we have to have that social acceptance before somebody starts moving, and then, hey, this is getting pretty serious, and then people started coming from the back, and guess what? We had a big pile at the door. Because the people in the back saw a little bit more urgency than the people in the front. Okay? So it's just understanding when you're in that deliberation mode, what you need to do is calm yourself down a little bit. Okay? Take some breaths. Okay? Understand. Scan. Know what your options are. Okay? Combat breathing, one of the things that we talk about as police officers or tactical officers. When we get into a stressful situation and things are going quick, slow the thinking down. How do you slow your thinking down? You slow your heart rate down. Okay? That's where we get into tactical breathing or autogenic breathing. Breathing in through your nose at the top, exhaling out your mouth. Do that 3 or 4 times as you hold. You'll reduce your heart rate by 30%. Okay? In the meantime, you're thinking. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to go from that human brain, now we're trying to convert over to that lizard brain, that reactive. We got to be reactive to this now. Okay? And you want to shift that emotion. We get into panic, let's shift that emotion. We get scared, let's shift that emotion. What am I saying? If you get to a certain situation where you have to fight, we got to shift that emotion. We can't be scared. We got to be upset. We got to be mad. Okay? So redirect that emotion. A couple of things will help you in the deliberation part of it. As police officers, let me ask you this question. How many times do you have to do something before it's instilled? How many? 3? 21? How many? Who said 1,000? 400. 1,000? 3,000. 3,000 times you have to do it before it's instilled. Okay? I'll give you a for instance. I was involved in a shooting in 2008. They asked the officer, why'd you shoot twice? No, I'm sorry, why'd you shoot 3 times? And the reason being is because that's what we trained. Over and over and over and over again. So when the stress hit, he didn't have an answer. That's just how I trained. When I skinned this thing and it came out, 3 shots were coming. And that's how we trained. But he did it over and over and over again, 3,000 times before it becomes scripted in your mind. Okay? The other side is this. We've asked these questions. We want guns in schools. Okay? I'm not here to say yes or no. But I'll tell you this, based on what you're learning right now and the physiological effects of what happens to an individual, has that person shot 3,000 times? No. Probably not. Okay? Have they drawn that weapon 3,000 times? No. Have they shot precisely 3,000 times? No. And have they done it under those circumstances? No. So you answer the question. I know policemen that can't respond effectively because of these situations. We won't go into this because it's very long and detailed, but this is a great example of scripting. He was instrumental in saving almost 3,000 people in the Trade Center incident, 9/11. And all it was he worked for Dean Witter, and his whole philosophy was training. After the first incident, I'm going to train. We're going to save as many people as we possibly can. Because of his training, 3,000 people were saved. He went back up again and actually perished, but great guy. If you ever get a chance to just look up the story. He's actually, there's a memorial next to the memorial with Rick's name. He's a retired lieutenant colonel in the Army. Skipping that just so we can get through some things. We get to the decisive movement. The whole thing is this. I know Nike, I just stole that, but you got to do it. You got to move forward, okay? Rechannel all that emotion that you have, fear, and you have to rechannel that into something, okay? And then you have to decide what to do. Okay? Once you make that decision, be determined to do it. We use this in law enforcement. When we go into a door, we call it violence to action, okay? I promise you, when we go in that door, we meant to go in that door. Okay? We can't have any hesitation. We can't have any drawback. We can't have somebody not wanting to go. When we go, we go. And we mean to go in there. And we call it violence to action. Because probably what's going to take place once we go in there is we're going to probably be pretty violent. The whole idea is to take the fight to them, not let them take the fight to us. Let's talk about active shooter events, and we'll push all this together, and we'll kind of open your eyes a little bit and kind of push what the teaching actually is about and how to put this together. Active shooter events. Don, can you read that for me, please?
Yes, sir. An active shooter event involves one or more persons engaged in killing or attempting to kill multiple people in an area occupied by multiple unrelated individuals.
This is a formal definition, okay?
Hey, I won.
I'll get it right. There's a formal definition of what mass murder is, okay? This map represents all the mass murderers that we've had up till 2012, okay? 0 to 4, 5 to 9, 10 plus. Some of these you ain't never heard of, have you? We only report to schools. Because then we can bring our experts in and say why it happened. It's everywhere. How many people travel outside of Texas? Well, it's happening outside of Texas. We'll stay away from that East Coast, though, I'll tell you that. There's some crazy folks over there, so California is falling too far behind. So you guys get an idea, this is in our mainstay. One of the earliest recorded active school shootings came in the 1800s. Okay? So it goes back that far. Some of them that we hadn't even heard. I know of one school locally that we had a shooting. You guys haven't even heard about it. In 1994, we had a school shooting at Lamar High School. Last day of school. Now, whether we were lucky or we did a shabby job, or, well, I give credit for us not having social media back then, but by the time the media got a hold of it, our crime scene unit was leaving. So you never heard it. CNN didn't ever get a chance to put them in big trucks out there and talk about it. Okay? Later on, we were actually able to find the suspect, but again, it happens here. Terrorism. 2 years after Columbine, we arrested 2 kids who were motivated to blow up Navarro Junior High, which is in Rosenberg. They had the schematics, they had the maps. They were actually going to use the locks that were on the doors, the chains that were on the doors. They brought their own locks. They had canisters of propane. They even glued strikers on their sleeves so they didn't have to use both hands. Okay? Remember what I told you about the person who's more planning than you? You're probably going to lose. Okay? Fortunately for us, some things happened, some people talked, and we were able to intervene. Move forward. About 5 years later, I get a phone call in reference to a kid who may be building a bomb. He goes to school at Fort Bend Baptist. I think it's something else now. Is it Fort Bend Baptist? Anybody know? They're in Sugar Land. 42 pounds of fertilizer, an 800 megahertz radio. That's what we carried. Hooked to the fertilizer. What was he doing? He wasn't blowing up ants as to what the sheriff said, not with 42 pounds of fertilizer, but 800 megahertz radio. You know what I'm talking about here. When we key this up, it sends a signal. You key it up to that right signal, guess what happens? Blows up. So who was going to set the bomb off? We were. So understand the kid wasn't that stupid. Okay? Fortunately for us, we were able, he talked, we were able to intervene. So just kind of a few things that kind of get close to home. I'm sure there are other stories, I'm sure there are other things, but again, we're not immune to the situation. 110 since 2000, from 2000 to 2010. So you look at the statistics there. We're in 2016, we've already had several more since then. The shooter profile. Understand, there's really not a profile. We're dealing with a lot of mentally disturbed people. The mindset, some do broadcast, like I told you, they talk a little bit, they do broadcast what their intentions are, they get on social media, they talk about it. Here's another story. I get a phone call, 4 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday, from a psychologist who says, I have a client that you may want to find out a little bit about. This is what he said. Okay, I've never in my career had a psychologist. He didn't care about HIPAA. Okay, you need to find this kid. I find the kid about 7 o'clock in the evening. He denies everything. He made a model of the school. I think this is the big thing then. He made a computer model of the school, all the doors and all the entrances and all the things that basically depicted that school. But he said he was just playing a game. So I got to talking to him and I asked him this question. Do you have intention of hurting people in your school? No. Are people bullying you at school? No. So then I asked him this question. Well, help me understand, if somebody was going to blow up or shoot people in your school, what would they do? Oh, well, they would do this. They would take a chain, they would lock this down, they would take propane bottles, and they would do, he had it all answered. Okay? So understand, these are the people that we're dealing with. Foster High School had an individual that was making napalm in his attic. Mom and Dad didn't know about it. Don't know why they didn't know about it. So these are all incidents that happen. Okay? These are all things that I'm familiar with. I'm sure there are hundreds of thousands more. But these are just trying to bring it home to you so you understand what we're up against. On the profile, the mindset, again, there's really not a profile, but these people are deliberate. They're focused on what they want. They're detached. More times than not, they're either bullied or they're either a bully or been bullied. And probably a grand percentage of these end up killing themselves after the event or during the event. Okay? That's basically the only profile we have. So it's very hard to say who is and who is not going to be a mass murderer. Active shooter locations. What are we talking about? I know I'm talking about schools. Look at there. What is that? Retired folks in here, I'm not talking to you. How many people in here work? How many people in your workplace have an active shooter policy? A couple of them, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or not, I was going to give credit. Okay? How many people in your workplace know what to do during a fire? Okay? So a little bit, well, way more people know what to do during a fire than in a shooting situation. What's our second one? Schools. And our third one, outdoor social events, churches, theaters, restaurants. Okay? For most of you that are from Texas, remember how we felt when Luby's got shot up? We kind of forgot about that one. Well, I missed that one by a week. We were up training, and we were there the week before. So, little eye-opening things that happen there. Okay? So understand, it's been there, we just forget about it. Okay? The Katy guys are here to remind you that it just happened. Okay? And it had just happened 6 miles from us. How about this one? Shooter connection. Okay? 55% of the time, the shooter's connected with the people that he's killing, either socially or family. 45 of it's not. Fort Hood. Give you the statistics on Fort Hood. Fort Hood, one shooter, 13 killed, 30 injured. Alabama, one shooter, started killing his family, went mobile, shooting random people, and ended up with his former employer, and he committed suicide, 10 dead. Couldn't hear about that one, did we? Okay, Edmond, Oklahoma, postal employee, killed 14, wounded 6 before he killed himself. Mumbai, India.
In November.
I'll get back out of that in just a minute. Anybody know anything about Mumbai? Okay, train station. Hundreds and hundreds of people. I'm going to show you a little video here. Might see a little bit of blood. Nobody's going to die. You're not going to see anybody dead in it. Hundreds of people there. Okay? And as comical as it may sound, the police were way uninformed and ill-prepared. Okay? So understand that we travel abroad, things happen. This is kind of give you an explanation of what went there. And I'm going to let this one play all the way to the entirety, okay?
In November last year, an organization determined to surpass Al-Qaeda as the world's most feared terrorist group sent 10 gunmen to Mumbai, India's biggest city. Their mission was to kill.
That's not fireworks.
The bodies were falling on me, and I was buried under the bodies from my waist down.
They wanted to stage a spectacle so cruel and terrifying, the world could no longer ignore Lashkar-e-Toiba, the army of the righteous. Indian intelligence recorded the terrorist conversations with their commanders in Pakistan.
Are they negotiating? Are you talking about negotiating? They say, hey, if they give up, then don't shoot them. They say that?
November 2008, 10 gunmen arrived off Mumbai on a hijacked fishing trawler. The crew was killed. The captain left alive to navigate. Later that night, the Indian intelligence services would begin recording the terrorists talking to their controllers in Pakistan. Under cover of darkness, they landed in a fisherman's slum next to the oldest, wealthiest part of Mumbai. Splitting up into teams of 2, they said their last goodbyes and hailed taxis to take them to their targets, which were all close by. At the station, Kassab and his accomplice Ismail mingled with those they had come to kill. They were ordinary people from every part of India, traveling to a wedding, a village, a temple, workers laden with holiday gifts, Muslim families heading home for the festival of Eid. At 7 minutes to 10, Kassab and Ismail opened their backpacks and took out assault rifles. The policemen at the station stood watching the massacre. Then most of them ran away and hid. One who didn't was Sudam Pandaka.
त्या टायमाला आम्ही 15-20 पोलीसमध्ये तिथे होतो. पण काय प्रकार आहे आणि काय करावं त्यावेळी सुचत नव्हतं अजिबात. म्हणजे आमचं सुद्धा हे चालत नव्हतं. काय करावं काय नाही.
The second in command at the station, Police Inspector Shashank Shinde, rallied his men.
फक्त त्यांनी तिथे सांगितले 5-6 रायफलवाले तुम्ही इकडे माझ्याबरोबर चाला. आणि त्यांनी सांगितले हे अतिरेकी आहे तर तुम्ही फायर करा. काही नाही फक्त नियम धरून त्यांना गोळे झाडायचे एवढंच मनात होतं बाकी काही नाही. त्यांच्यावर फायर करून त्यांना मारायचं एवढंच हे मनात.
He moved past deliberation to acting.
Pandaka carried an ancient bolt-action rifle with 5 bullets. Inspector Shinde carried a pistol. Another policeman, Ambalas Power, was unarmed.
अंबादास पवारनी मला सांगितले की मी पोलीस वास आहे रायफल घेऊन मी फायर करतो. म्हणून माझ्यातून रायफल घेऊन एक राऊंड घेऊन त्याने फायर केलं. त्या टायमाला रायफल लोड वगैरे करूच तर त्याने फायरिंग केली. अतिरेकी आहे त्याचं नाव प्रसाद आहे. माझ्या छातीवर टंका गोळी झाल्याने गोळीचा मार छातीवर बसल्याने शांत होता आणि माझ्या पाठीमागं शशांक शिंदे साहेब आणि अंबादास पवार ते मध्येच पीडित पडले होते.
As Kassab and Ismail headed for the exit, a policeman grabbed a rifle from a terrified comrade. It jammed, and in desperation he hurled the plastic chair. Now Kassab fired through the station windows, shooting down a plainclothes policeman. The Wednesday night traffic passed by, the drivers oblivious to the horror inside. An hour and a half had passed since Kassab and Ismail had come ashore with their 8 accomplices. Now they walked out of the station and melted into the darkness. With the terrorists gone, the railway police rushed out of hiding, weapons at the ready. Kassab and Ismail had killed 52 people at the station and wounded more than 100.
Two factors in here that we're trying to minimize here: the number of deaths and the target availability. Okay, we're determining the number of deaths. Okay, you guys have to minimize the target availability. You have to decide what it is that you're going to do. What did Patty tell the kids to do? Get under the desk. This wasn't a tornado coming. Okay? Why did we tell them to get under the desk? There were windows. There were doors. There were exits. I'm going to tell you why she did it. And this phrase is pretty compelling to me, because I think this is what's wrong with a lot of things that we do in society. Because we teach people what to think, we don't teach them how to think. Okay? So, as a school teacher, there's a checklist we got to go by. Well, that's pretty damn good if that shooter's going to go by your list. Okay? And I promise you he doesn't. Are they going to negotiate? No. No matter how much you plead and how much you pray to God, they're not going to negotiate. Okay? That's the reality. So understand that now you have to decide what it is you're going to do. Am I going to prevail or am I going to be a victim? The number of deaths, again, we're trying to predict two things. How long it takes us to get there and what you do in the interim, okay? And that's how we minimize those two things there. 3 minutes, national average to a major crisis, 3 minutes. That's the best we can do, folks. So what do you do for that 3 minutes? This is what we're going to do. I didn't do this, though. That just scared the hell out of me. We want to get past the denial, okay? Don't deny. You hear gunshots. Let's go to deliberation. Let's figure out something, okay? We have a fire. We're pretty much on point as to what we're supposed to do. This young lady right here does exactly the wrong thing. And I want you to listen to her story, and then we'll talk about, I'm going to give you that plan, and then we're going to go home.
So, this is pretty important. This day, I ended up sitting in exactly this...
Let me stop. Let me set this up. This young lady is a Virginia Tech student. She's in room 211 when the shooter starts shooting. She is a student taking part in her class. Christina Anderson is her name. I'm sorry, I forgot.
So, this is pretty important. This day, I ended up sitting in exactly the same seat I always did, in the back right-hand corner on the right side of the class. What we don't know is that this time, someone is downstairs and he's chaining all 3 doors shut. There's supposed to be desks there, well, you guys can see. We heard the first gunshots outside in the hallway, and my teacher, she opened the door, she immediately slammed it and she said, call 911. And the second that door closed, he walks in. He walks in shooting. There's absolutely no time. He goes to the other side of the classroom by the windows. He's holding 2 guns. He doesn't say anything. He just starts going down the rows of people. It's very quick. It's very loud. It's very scary. We had these very shitty desks. I get on the floor. I put my knees under the chair, my stomach on the seat, hands overhead, eyes are closed. As the shots keep going, and it's, like I said, very loud, I can tell it's getting closer and closer. And I'm telling myself, brace yourself, your turn is going to come. Now, I didn't know what that meant. Like, I didn't think I was going to get shot, but I knew that something really serious was going on. And I knew for whatever reason that I should just play dead. He shoots me. The first time is in the back. And you'd be surprised, getting shot doesn't hurt that much because shock overtakes you, but it starts to like burn and really kind of seep in, and that's when it gets really uncomfortable. It's not pleasant. He leaves the first time, he goes across the hall, and while he's gone, cell phones are ringing, people are coughing, and the smell of gunpowder has like completely filled the room. Gunpowder is like this really sticky, pungent, warm smell, and it just makes you very, very thirsty. He comes back. Now, this time, the shooting is more intermittent. It's slower because he's looking to see who's alive. I remember telling myself to stop breathing because I can feel my stomach hitting that chair, and I'm saying, stop, like, he can see that you're alive. The third and final time, he killed himself in front of our classroom. When the police broke in, the first thing the guy said was, we have a lot of blacks in here. I didn't know what that meant, but when police sweep a crime scene, they have 30 seconds. If you're red, you're critically injured. If you're yellow, you'll live. Black means you're dead. In 9 minutes, he killed 11 of my classmates and my teacher. 32 people lost their lives that day.
So playing dead doesn't work. Okay, they're not going to ignore you. How many people died in her classroom? In how many minutes? 32 people overall. 11. Okay? So understand, hide and hope doesn't work. Okay? You can pray. What you got to do for yourself. Sometimes I think the man upstairs sometimes he's busy, so you might have to fend for yourself that day. Okay? This is what I want you to do. The whole portion of this class is avoid, deny, defend. We've heard of run, fight, run, hide, fight. There's all kinds of the same thing. It's the same thing, but I'm going to break it down to you as to how we want you to assess that, okay? And this is just the basic strategy of the class. Remember, we have to get past the denial, we have to go into deliberation, and we have to act. This is the acting part, okay? Let me start with that. Turn it down. I think it's St. Petersburg, Florida. There's a school board meeting. Okay, a mentally challenged individual comes in because he's upset his wife's unemployment benefits expire. So understand what goes on here. How do you know if something is wrong? Is that the normal? I asked the officers, how do you know? I know I get arguments with the females here because they got a sixth sense. I asked policemen, how do you know when something's not right? Well, I got a gut feeling. No, that's not what it is. I'm going to tell you what it is. Because it's went right so many times that when it does go wrong, you identify it. It doesn't feel right. Tell me what doesn't feel right in this video. Tell me when it stopped feeling right. Okay?
And for me, take an opportunity to notice that's on the chart that you have there. And it's part of the plan we have at the workshop. We're going to have fun with this meeting. This will be the first step in that whole process.
He gets up and says, I have a motion. He goes up to the wall and takes a big beat. I don't know what we're waiting for. Oh, there we go.
Hey, sir. John, just let him talk. He's talking. John, go ahead.
She acted. Okay? Give her credit. She acted.
Yes. It's all right.
I'm going to die today. What do you say?
Can we talk for a minute?
Can we talk for a minute?
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Because I really don't know who you're talking about. To be very honest with you, I'm talking to you. She was fired. I believe that. She said that, but what did she do? Mike.
Can you just talk to us a little bit? Where is he working students?
No, he's saying that.
No, I was supposed to say, doctor. Come on in. You got a real down there? Come on in. Nah, wait a minute.
He probably doesn't have to. Tell me what she did. Her call the police is. I know that is. Part of what? Sir, I don't know what you bring in.
Just to stop taxes, okay? You said we don't need no taxes.
No, it's
Plenty of money. Then as soon as you cut the school system, then you turned around and said, oh, now we need to have some sales tax again.
I said we need to have some sales tax from the very beginning. I said I campaigned on that. What you said that? You can look at the material. I said from the beginning we have some sales taxes the most equitable way because everybody.
He starts arguing with the guy and gets more irritated.
everybody, just listen to me for a minute. I want everybody to get hurt, and I've got a feeling that what you want is the cops come in and kill you because you're mad, because you see you're going to die every day. But why? This isn't worth it. This is a problem. Please don't. Please don't. Please. All I'm doing is
the only person that gets shot is him. Probably the most horrible shot ever. Okay? But he didn't come there to negotiate. Was he prepared? Was he motivated? Okay? Was he able? Could we talk to him? No. We're not going to talk politics with this guy. He want to talk about the taxes. I was going to reduce taxes. I'll do it now. Okay? That's not what he was there for. He was motivated. Okay? Situational awareness. I think there was a total of 7 shots fired. You're going to see this video again because there's a great point as to what to do. So, avoid. You people got the message. They got out. They need an invitation. Situational awareness. Know where your exits are. Okay? We get so caught up in this little gadget that we spend thousands of dollars a year. This is our life. We're walking in the store, we're on the phone. We're driving in the car, we're on the phone. We're in church, we're on the phone. Okay? We get so caught up, we're distracted. Understand, once you avoid this problem, these people should have been on the phone. Hey, we got an issue here. What wasn't right? At what point should you have started getting your stuff and, you know, hey honey, get your purse, we got to go. Okay? When you started spray painting, okay, in law enforcement we call that a clue. You want to consider secondary exits. Okay? What's a secondary exit in here? Okay, we see an exit there. We have an exit here. It says one's back there. Okay? Where else? On the sidewalk. Windows. Hey, I promise you, they'll fix these windows. Okay? And you'll be surprised. Ask, if you have young children, ask this. Mine failed. Okay, I have 6 children. Now I have 6 kids because it's wrong. I got 1 child. Ask your children this. If there's a fire in your house and you can't get in the hallway to get out, what are you going to do? You're going to go out the window. Window's locked. In my house, my window's only open that far. Okay? I got a 12-year-old that's about as big as me. He ain't getting out there. What are you going to do? And so I ask you, what are you going to do? Why don't you wait for somebody to come get you? Okay? Why? Why did he say that? Because he knew I'd beat his butt if he ever broke a window in my house. Okay? But he don't understand. What do we teach our kids? We teach them how to think, not what to, or we teach them what to think, not how to think. Okay? No, you break that window and you get out. All right? So understand, you have to understand what those secondary exits are. We're going to deny. We're going to talk about Virginia Tech here in just a minute, and I'm going to show you why this works. This is the study that kind of unveiled all this. We're going to lock the door. We're going to turn the lights out. We're going to stay out of sight. That's only if we can't get out. Okay? So what are we doing? We're denying that person access to us the best we can. Okay? We're going to barricade. We're going to, if it's a door that opens inward, we'll try to find some way to lock that. Take those I don't even know what you call those things. What do you call them? Arms. Yeah, the arms there, the hydraulic arms. Take some duct tape and tape them puppies up. It ain't opening. Okay? Be inventive on how to deny this person access to you. Get the idea? If that doesn't work, we're going to defend ourselves. Okay, this is the ugly part. This is where you have to turn that aggression that we were talking about, that emotion. I'm scared. I don't want to. Well, guess what's going to happen? I promise you heard what the girl said. I was waiting my turn. Don't wait your turn. Do what you have to do to survive. Give me 3 minutes. Okay? You position yourself. Don't be across the room. Distance is not your friend. Be up next to the door. Let's fight for that gun. Let's live that day. Okay? That person is not going to be prepared for this response. Do we fight fair? Hell no. We beat him with everything in that room. My mama used to do that a lot. You do what you have to do to survive. My ex-wife's second grade school teacher. She teaches, she's the last class in the hall. I asked her, she teaches in Bowling, Texas. School was built in 1954. They got wood doors that got big glass windows. What do you do in case you have a shooting situation? We lock in place. For what? They can see you. They can break the window, get in. What do? You're that far from the door. Get your kids out. Take the second grade, get them out. Okay? I know I'm stepping on some toes here when you talk about schools. The schools have policy. We lock in place. No, don't lock in place. You don't lock in place when there's a fire. Get out. Get away. Avoid. Okay? If you can't, they took her back from her. She played it off as long as she could. She said that's for the kids' playground. It wasn't. So I'm going to give you this. You can't carry a gun. You can't carry, get you a big old can of wasp spray. Okay? That's better than pepper spray, plus it's got a lot more in it. Okay? Do what it takes to defend yourself. Letter opener. Think about it. Look around. Play that game tomorrow when you're at work. Play that game and say, okay, if somebody did this, what can I use in here? Okay? Be original. Whatever you do, you got to fight. Okay? Lieutenant Brian Murphy this is a great story. Again, I'm not going to, we go here too long. This is like a 2-hour class. I'm trying to jam it up in there. So he was at a school, responded to a school shooting. We shot 7 times. Okay? And he decided to fight. He decided to live. Okay? Even though he was still taking rounds. Great story. You need to look at, I think this happened, I want to say Pennsylvania. Virginia Tech. Almost done. We'll talk about the avoid, defend, and deny. Or avoid, deny, defend. How it worked and how it didn't work. Okay, look down here. No action taken. This is the first classroom that was they went into. Room 206. 77% of the people were killed, 92 were shot. They just sat their desk, waiting their turn. No action. Failed denial. I wish I could think, I can't even pronounce his name. He's a Jewish professor, went through the Holocaust, was trying to hold the door, and he shot through the door. He actually shot people as they were trying to exit out the window. 100% of the people in that classroom were killed, 100% were shot, 67 were killed. Then we had a late denial because he left the room. You heard me say he came back. He left each of these rooms and came back. They had a late denial. The first time he came in, he shot 85% of the people, 35 of them died. Okay, he comes back. The second time, they decided to barricade the door. They put books and put chairs and desks and what have you, and only could open the door about 2 inches and shot inside. Didn't hit anybody after that. But it was a late denial. The failed denial was, again, them trying to act. Okay? 36% of the people were shot, 14. But you see, they're acting, they're doing something. How about these people down here in room 205? He didn't get into 205. Let me tell you what they did. They laid down on the door opened in. 4 or 5 of them laid down, put their feet on the door, anticipating he was going to shoot about waist high, just like he did with the professor. 0 people died. 0 people were shot. So this is where the denial part happens. If you can't get out, let's deny them access. Okay? I know a lot of these, we have schools, in some school districts or schools I've trained in, their protocol is lock the door. Well, that'd be great if there was a lock on the door. Okay? So what do? How do I follow that protocol? So understand, sometimes we set people up for failure. We set people, we give them these false sense of, oh, we got a plan. But the plan there didn't work. So these kids took it upon themselves. How many, do we have any students in here? College students? High school? College? Where you go to school at, son?
Right now I'm going to
HCC? At HCC, do they talk about now? Okay? I promise you it's not, you graduated from U of H. You know what happened at U of H? I know what you know what to do, but did they talk about it? No. It's coming around, but it's coming around too late. Okay? These guys acted on their own. Okay? Understand that you're not helpless in what you do. Understand that there are things to do. There's always something to do. But if you sit and do nothing, chances are you're going to be a victim. Now to break this down as schematics, what you do matters. Attack starts. What do we want to do? What's the first thing we want to try to do? Avoid. Okay? So we look. Situational awareness. How are we going to avoid this? Let's look for some exits. Okay? Shooting's coming from here. Let's try this one. That's the best one. Okay? So that works. We're out of the problem. What do we do once we get out of the problem? Let's call. Let somebody know what's going on. Give them as much detail as you possibly can. Okay? So that doesn't work. Now what do? Now we're locked in this room. There's no way out. So what do? We deny them access to us. Okay? Whatever means necessary to secure that room. Okay? We find an option to get out. We break a window. Now what do? Let's get out of the situation. Let's avoid. Okay? So we're going to look. Are there other exits? Sure there are. Let's get out. What are we going to do? We're going to call for help. Okay? Remember in the Virginia Tech, I think he was there a total of 22 minutes on campus because there was actually another incident happening across campus. So I think the whole incident was 22 minutes long. Okay? And if there ain't nothing there, then you got to fight. Okay? And you do whatever it takes to survive. You do whatever it takes to give us that 3 to 5 minutes. And that's what this is about. You guys owe it to yourselves, you owe it to your families. You have to have a plan. Beginning of this class, I told you, I said, if you meet the person who's more planned than you, chances are you're going to lose. Okay? So hopefully what we've done tonight is we've equipped you with some ideas in that we think a little faster, we deliberate a little faster, and we act way quicker. Okay? It's easier to assess what's going on from a distance than it is trying to figure out, like my mom, she's the nosy one, she wants to go see what was going on. But understand that we want, in this day and time, if you hear it, you have to analyze what it is. It ain't fireworks. Okay? I was on a cruise ship. A guy jumps off the side from the 13th floor. Lady screams. I knew the scream. That ain't a scream, somebody's happy and, we want more drinks. Okay? The guy bailed off the side. Okay? Understand that automatic, you start to identify things. Okay? How do we know what's right? Or how do we know what's wrong? Because what's right? Is somebody supposed to scream like that on a cruise boat? No. Okay? When the police arrive, when the police arrive, certain things that we expect from you guys. Okay? And we're going to treat you like who? Okay? And why is that? We don't know. And all these people that said they're going to call 911 when we avoided the problem, because of the stressful situation, they had a red shirt on, they had a black shirt on, they had a green shirt on. We're going to see things because the stress level is going to create such a void for us that we're going to have that auditory exclusion. We're going to be focused on certain things. You won't even be able to tell me what color the gun was, or who had the gun, or how many people there were, how many shots were fired. And if you are, I promise you, the consensus of this room, we'd have 30, 40 different answers. That's stress, folks, and that's what it's going to do to you. Okay? So, in that, the police are trying to respond based on the information you're giving us. Okay, you had a black shirt on, a blue shirt, there were 3 of them, no, there's 2 of them, there's 4 of them. In Columbine, there were 4 shooters. Okay? No, there wasn't, there were 2. But the reports were 4. You want to see some crazy cops, let's find the 2 and look what we're looking for. Okay? We're trying to find those other 2. Okay? And it gets a little stressful when we start dealing with people. All right? When we arrive, we want you to be compliant. Okay? Let us see your hands. We know that the only thing that you can hurt us with is your hands. Let us see your hands. Get them up there. Okay? We're going to ask you to do things. We're going to ask you to get on the ground. We're going to ask you to put your hands on your face. We're going to ask you to do a whole lot of things, and we're going to treat you like a suspect. Okay? That's what we have to do. Okay? We're trying to sort out a lot of things, a lot of details that we don't have. Okay? But just be compliant. We'll work it out. We'll figure out here, between here and tomorrow, that you're probably not the guy we're looking for, or the girl we're looking for. Okay? So, the two things that I've been asked, there's a couple of people in here that have some that do shooting. They train in shooting and weapons carrying. And what do you do when you come in contact with law enforcement? The best thing I can tell you is be compliant. Do what we ask you to do. Because anything above that creates a situation for us, and it creates a safety situation. Non-compliance is a safety issue. Okay? Anytime that we write a report on use of force, it should say, because of him being uncooperative, it become a safety issue. Non-compliance is a safety issue. Okay? I've been involved in some bad situations. Anytime I've ever had to fire my gun or discharge my gun, it was because he was non-compliant or she was non-compliant in what I asked her to do. Okay? If you don't stop your car when we turn the lights on, are you being compliant? No, you raise that safety awareness up. So all we're asking you to do is be compliant. Okay? We will sort it out. We will figure out before too long that you're not the person we're looking for. But just be compliant and understand. Go with us. When the police arrive, obviously our objective is to stop the killing. Okay? We want to try to stop the dying. Paramedics won't be in. They're not going to come with us. Okay? You as citizens. How many people in here know advanced first aid? Not first aid, because CPR won't be the one we're looking for. Okay, these people might have some holes in them, but what we have to do is this. Any nurses, any doctors, any? How soon before shock sets in? Immediately. Okay? Immediately. If you're shot, immediately. What we tell you about your stress level, your heart's beating real fast. Okay? You're faster, you're this, that, and other, guess what you're going to do? You're going to bleed out. The reason I said that, you're going to bleed out very quickly. Okay? So there's another portion of this class where we talk about first aid. Okay? Things that you can do as a citizen, because guess what? You're there. Okay? We're not going to bring the paramedics in. They won't come in. We have to secure the scene. All right? And then the third thing we have to do is we have to start evacuating the area, and that's where we say, do what we ask you to do. We're going to put you in a little train, and we're going to have your hands up, and we're going to do all the things you've seen on TV. Just be compliant. We're going to take you. We're going to make sure you're safe. We're going to pat you down, make sure you don't have no weapons, because we're going to be sure. Okay? Again, we talked about that. Medical history. It would be advantageous to look up some of these. I just went to a class on the. Help me guys, I was going to that class. The tourniquet. What's it called? Kevin, where you at? The buddy. I know how to use them. I don't know what they're called. Yeah, the tourniquets. Okay? We're buying all of our guys these tourniquets, okay? And the reason being is because something happens here, EMS is not that quick. Okay? We know that. So we're going to start administering first aid for ourselves, okay? Look into that. There's a lot of great information out there. Now, if you're sick, don't look up WebMD because you're going to die of everything. I had chest pain the other day. I was, personnel issues. These are things, I'm not going to touch on this, but understand these are things that are after effects. These are things that you or those people will probably endure. Okay? Now, you've seen this earlier, and understand in my presentation, I didn't name anybody, any of the shooters. There's a reason we don't do that. I have the two Katie guys, Felix is an alert instructor. We don't name these guys because a lot of times they do this for the notoriety. They're losers. They have nothing, and we're not going to give them anything. So in my presentation or in our presentations, we don't name who these people are. We don't give them that dignity. We'll identify the people that were involved, the victims in this, and we'll learn from their shortcomings. So I've asked you a couple of things tonight in the ability to survive. I've asked you Survive for how long? Give me 3 minutes, okay? We're pretty quick. We're that good. I think we can get there in 3 minutes. Now, I promise you, the Fort Bend County is very, very prepared in handling situations such as this. Katie just went through this 2 weeks ago. Was your chief? Their chief was on the entry team, okay? We're trained from the top to the bottom on how to handle these situations, okay? So the first 3 guys, 2 guys, first guy there, we're going in, okay? So we're not going to sit back and wait. We're not going to call the SWAT team. We're going in to fix the problem because we have to stop the killing, okay? So you give me that 3 minutes and we'll go to work for you. With that, is there any questions that you guys have? I know we maybe a little over an hour and a half. Is there anything I can answer without going into should we carry guns, should we not carry guns, what's good, what's not? Anything about the presentation, anything that you have a question of? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, if you have your concept area and you find yourself in a situation and you shoot and the police come in, I know you say it's like you just drop your gun, what's it?
Put your gun, disassociate yourself with that weapon, okay? When you know it's the police, disassociate yourself with that weapon, okay? Be as compliant as you possibly can, okay? Because I promise you, they're going to be, it's going to be puckered a little bit, I promise you. So, the least amount of bad interpretations we can have. We know there's a weapon there. We'll key in on that. It's not in your hands. We can see your hands. So that would be my advice to you. Yeah, if you guys want to come up and I know you folks, some of you, I don't have Lamar, which is represented by Rosenberg's SROs. Again, this is KDISD. These are the guys that patrol our high schools. We're kind of unique and we're divided in 2 school districts. Again, these guys just went through this same situation where they had, I'll tell you what, you tell. I'll screw it up.
Hi, good evening. My name is Frank Munoz. I'm with KDIC Police. I work out of the office. I'm in an investigative capacity. And last Wednesday, a week ago today, we experienced this across the street at Night Transportation. And I wanted to ask you guys, after that happened, after Night Transportation incident happened, how many of y'all contemplated, how many of y'all actually thought about, man, that could have happened in my work. We fired somebody, or that could have happened at a previous job, or we know so-and-so has a crazy ex-husband, or a crazy ex-wife, or a crazy boyfriend. Did this affect you? Did this hit Katy, Texas? Fulshear, Texas? Did this make it real? Did this bring it home? Absolutely, it did for us too. And for years we've trained and trained and trained for this type of event. And when this happened, it was shocking, to say the least. I was tipped off about the incident. My wife was here with me. She works next door to the police department and at the maintenance office. And one of the guys in the Night Transportation ran out and ran into maintenance screaming for help. And then she called me and she said, what the heck's going on over there? And they were 30 seconds, a minute ahead of us when we got wind of it. And one quote that stuck with me that day and in training and in my whole career, and I want y'all to process this. And I love what Chief is doing here, because the quote is, the body can't go where the mind hasn't been. And this is why you're here. You got to get in the mindset. You got to get ahead of the game, get prepared, know what's going on, and prepare for that day, because nobody's immune from it. And a week ago today, it happened here in Katy. So just consider all the options. There's so much to add to this. Chief did a fantastic job, and other trainings and everything. I've learned other stuff I want to add. Y'all contemplate this for a moment. In a classroom, in a setting, perhaps even here. If none of the cops were here and a guy were to come in with a gun, is it 1 on 60 people, or is it 1-on-1 60 times? It's 1-on-1 60 times. God created man. Samuel Colt made him equal, right? Samuel Colt. And if you're unarmed and somebody comes in here in this room, he's not going to take all 60 of y'all at once. He takes one at a time, 60 times over. And so go there. Take your mind to that place. What can you do to prepare for that? You can do a million things. You can do a lot. You can do a lot. And so condition yourself. It's a harsh reality, but it's the world we live in, unfortunately. There's a lot of crazies out there. We cannot rationalize the irrational. So we just prepare.
Any more questions? Thank you, Frank.
After, then we have to fight the person, the shooter.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, if we take him, like, if we take his gun, then what do we do, like, after we take him down?
If you take,
Like, the students,
okay,
we have to fight him.
okay.
And then we, like, take his weapons. So what do we do after we
Is
fight?
anybody recording this? You recording, aren't you? Whoop his butt. That's what you do. Same thing I'm telling you. When the officers come in, you're in school, these guys are going to come in, okay? Be as compliant as you can. If you have his weapon, disassociate yourself, but don't keep from whooping his butt, okay? Okay, you keep him hemmed up, all right? But you have to disassociate yourself because, again, us going in, we don't know that you're not him, okay? So disassociate yourself with that weapon. I promise you, when we come in, he's not going to want to run up and go over there and get that weapon, okay? Be compliant. That's all you have to do. Be compliant, get rid of that weapon, lay on the ground, do whatever it takes to disassociate yourself from being identified as a suspect, okay? That's a tough one. That's actually a very good question. But that's a tough one because, again, we're going to look at things, but we're looking at the threat. We're looking at non-compliance, okay? When we go in, we're looking at who's not compliant, okay? We told everybody to get down and this guy's standing up, there's a problem, okay? That's another clue, all right? So just understand, just be compliant, all right? I like the attitude. Any other questions?
Yeah, I want to add that listen to what you just said. I love it. You've already embraced, you're thinking with a winning mindset. You're thinking positively. There's going to be, you've already conditioned yourself to think, I'm going to come out of this alive. There's an opportunity, there's hope you're going to do something proactive about it. Good for you, man.
All right. Any other questions? Again, I appreciate you guys coming out. Overwhelming. This is the second time we've done this. We'll do it again, okay? Let your friends know. We have just under 9,000 people here. I don't think we touched on them today, okay? So again, we'll put this on as many times as we want people to attend or we get people to attend, okay? Again, a lot of it is just you taking the time to come out, and I think hopefully you're a little bit more informed when you leave here, but challenge yourself.
I just want to let everybody know that we have videotaped this tonight, and it will be up in the next few days on Fulshear.com, and you'll be able to share this with your friends, your family, your neighbors who weren't able to be here tonight. So I encourage you to let them go and take a look at this if they got the time, and this way it brings our whole community together. So, is there something else, Mike?
Yeah, hang on, I got one more question. Greg, you have?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that would agree what I'm going to say. We have given a lot of information. There's some other steps that we need to do, like where do we get the EMS training or self-aid in case of that situation, or help another one? Where can we get it? Because that's the question there's a lot of people are going to ask, because they've asked me already,
right.
and they don't know where to get all the steps that are coming to the training.
For Fulshear, for people in Fulshear, okay, I can't speak for anybody in Katy. For the people in Fulshear, we have the resources. Our fire chief is also the #2 guy in EMS. So I promise you, if we have an overwhelming, if we have interest, we can get that training to you. Okay, so if somebody wants to coordinate that, we'll come right back here and we'll do what it takes. I was very impressed with the training that I went to over the tourniquets and how to apply them. And you think it's simple, but it's not. So, Randy.
Also, worked in Office of Emergency Management.
Yeah.
Also office courses.
Yeah. So there's a lot of resources. You can't put me on the spot as the name of all of them, but I assure you, if there's an interest here and we want to put something together, I'll get those resources.
Okay.
So,
American Red Cross teaches all kinds of first aid, safety. You can look up any local American Red Cross.
Yeah, but just like the kid was asking, he's interested in that, they won't give him that training. That's what I'm talking about. So if they got
There's classes that they can sign up for. American Red Cross will sign up.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Before y'all officially announce like this type of training, I have to comment, but where do you officially?
On our social media site, on our Facebook site.
What's that called?
Mike, what's it called? Yeah, just Fulshear PD under Facebook.
Fulshear Police.
Fulshear Police, yeah, it's facebook.com/Fulshear Police.
So you haven't liked this yet, huh?
At the Fulshear Area Chamber of Commerce, there'll be an event page too, and these things will be listed on events at FulshearAreaChamber.com as well.
A couple of things, if you guys would give me 6 names, Mike. For the people that left here.
26, okay, so Michael Benjamin.
Mike? We have a few door prizes here. We're just giving you a challenge coin here.
We got a number Shannon between 1 and 86. 85. 86. Salinas.
Less than 60. I'm not good at this much here.
We got a number 33. Bill Hogan.
Right up here, Mike.
And I'm going to give you one so I'm going to question tonight. Let's see. Juan? Which one's Juan? Oh, you're
That
not
two over there.
All right. I think it's 3 sons.
Yeah.
186, 32. Is Mark Ross. Right here. Mark Ross. Mark, thank you. And Mark, pick a number between 1 and 86. 43. 43. Hang on, Pope? There you go. Thank you, guys.
All right. Last thing I'll say is I realized I didn't turn the air. I done lost 2 pounds. So Frank brought up a good point. You know, we're always identified as first responders, but in these situations, you're going to be the first responder. You're going to be the person that's in the mix. Okay. So again, this is what this is about. This is to kind of marinate those thoughts and hopefully gives you something to work towards in the event. God forbid you're in one of these situations. But unfortunately, it happens, and it's in our mainstay. So again, if there's any questions you have tonight, I appreciate the critiques. If you didn't finish your critique, you can get it back to me. But this is what we send to Texas State to basically say I'm doing a good job, I'm not doing a good job, I'm horrible, whatever it may be. The air conditioner wasn't on, or whatever it may be. But whatever you can do to get those back to me, I appreciate it. I appreciate your attendance. And during the time here, I know we're all busy, but I really think this is something that we need to get out to the public. So, sure.
The ladies of Cross Creek, I know you guys are already spread this on Facebook and the men's group of Cross Creek. This was found while we were here, while we were sitting here. You saw us run out. This was in the middle of the road here in Cross Creek off Wild Mustang. It looked like it is an actual grenade. It was fake. I mean, it was drilled out. And we discovered it was drilled out, so we actually blocked off the street, but it went all over. People were panicking. You could see the panic in their eyes as everybody was spreading out. So just be aware, stuff like this can happen anywhere. Don't panic and stay away from it and call the police.
Any questions? Good night, folks, and be careful going home.